إلى الله يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما. Alhamdulillah, yesterday we started talking about Surah Al-Sajda, chapter number 31, and we talked about the main theme of the surah, which is related to the revelation of the Quran. And because it is one of the Meccan surah, means one of the surahs was revealed before the hijrah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So it has certain qualities, certain characteristics. And one of those characteristics that it has a relationship to the creation of the heavens and the earth. And imagine this, that the Quran at that time, at the early stage, at the early age of time, was talking to the people of Quraysh, to the pagans of Quraysh, those who used to worship idols. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in the Quran, وَلَئِن سَأَلْتَهُمْ مَنْ خَلَقَ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ لَيَقُولُنَّ اللَّهُ. If you were to ask them, if you were to ask the people of Quraysh, who had created heavens and earth, they will say Allah. Yes, so they worshipped idols. They worshipped idols, but they know who is Allah. And some of them had a reason for worshipping the idols. They said, مَا نَعْبُدُهُمْ إِلَّا لِيُقَرِّبُونَ إِلَى اللَّهِ زُلْفًا. We worship them just for taking us closer to Allah. So they considered, some of them considered the idols like mediators between them and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, not actual gods, you know. So some of them, and they already knew Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But in that case, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wanted to tell them, those idols, they are not your gods, and you should worship Allah. You must worship Allah, the creator. And then Allah is giving them some clarifications about who is Allah. But today's lecture is very important. Maybe it is one of the lectures that you will not forget the rest of your life, because it's dealing with a certain issue. Actually, it's related to the time. It's related to the concept of the time. We said Allahu Ladhi, He is Allah, the one who created heavens and earth, and what is in between. What is in between? Okay? And Allah said He created heavens and earth, and what is in between in 6 days. Now let's ask ourselves, are those 6 days like our days? The 24 hours. And we said that is impossible to be, because Allah is talking about 6 days even before creating the solar system, before creating our system, our galaxies. So our galaxies, or the movement of the sun, which determines the 24 hours. So Allah is talking now about different concept, different dimension of the time itself. And one of the things that I wanted to share with you, that even time, or the length of the day, it differs from country to country, from area to area, right? Like sometimes they tell you that those who are fasting in Australia, those who are fasting in certain areas of the land, some people, they only have the daytime, the morning time, the daytime only for 5-6 hours, right? And they come to the sunset quickly. The night is very long, and it is within our world, our globe. But when it comes, what about other planets like Mars? So how long is the day in Mars? And that takes us to another concept. What is the definition of time when it comes to Allah? In order to do this, and I just wanted to establish something very important. Do you remember when we explained the issue of qada and the qadar, the destiny of Allah? And we said, we asked ourselves, do we have choice, or everything was forced upon us, was prescribed upon us? And we said, in order to do this, you have to classify everything that we are living into three categories. Number one, things are happening to us. Some things are happening in us or upon us, and things are happening from us. So for the things that is happening upon us or to us, we have no choice. Do you have choice now to stop your heart and still living? No. Still breathing? No. Do you have a choice now in the movement of your liver, your kidneys, or blood circulation? Do you have control on this? No. Do you have control on the wind, on the rain, on the earthquakes, and all of those? No. Do you have a control when was you born? No. Do you have a control to choose your parents? No. Do you have a control to choose your rizq? No. Do you have control about breathing or not? You choose, no, I cannot breathe. I don't want. Let's block the breathing now. Yes, you will kill yourself, but I mean, as a mechanism for the body to function, to work, you must do certain things. And that is something you have no choice in it. And lots of things. And the things that you have the choice, whether to come to worship Allah or not, whether to do good or not, whether to be an evil person or not, that's by your choice. It's not something was prescribed upon you. That's why Allah said, وَهَدَيْنَاهُ this Surah Al-Balad. We explained Saturday, وَهَدَيْنَاهُ النَّجْدَيْنِ. We guided him to both of the ways. And that will take us to the next verse in Surah Al-Sajda. Allah said, يُدَبِّرُ الْأَمْرَ مِنَ السَّمَاءِ إِلَى الْأَرْضِ ثُمَّ يَعْرُجُ إِلَيْهِ فِي يَوْمٍ كَانَ مِقْدَارُهُ أَلْفَ سَنَةٍ مِمَّا تَعُدُّونَ. Now we have two things you need to know. We have the creation of Allah, which we call it Al-Khalq. And we have the order of Allah, which is Al-Amr. You know Amr? So Al-Amr or Amr. So now you have Khalq and you have Amr. What do you live right now? Is Khalq or Amr? What do you live right now? He already created you. So now you are living the Amr. The Amr means the decree, the destiny of Allah. So now you have Khalq and Amr. After Allah talked with us about the Khalq, He's talking with us about the Amr. Yudabbirul Amr. He subhanahu wa ta'ala is the one who will issue the order. Min as-sama'i ila al-ard. So the orders are coming from the heavens to the earth. Listen. ثُمَّ يَعْرُجُ إِلَيْهِ. Then it will go up to Allah back. It will go back to Allah up. فِي يَوْمٍ, in a day. كَانَ مِقْدَارُهُ. That day estimated with 1,000 years, like your time. So that will take us to the idea that one day in Allah's time is equivalent to 1,000 years of our time, of the 24 hours. Now, if I told you that Allah knows everything, you know why? He's Al-Alim. Yes, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the all-knowing. But think about it as a perspective of time. If all the orders of Allah came down to the earth in 500 years from our time, and it started to go back, what does it mean go back? The execution, the implication, the effect of the order of Allah. It will go back to Him in another 500 years. So the total will be 1,000 years. Now, what is going to happen in our life, what is going to happen tomorrow, what is going to happen after 10 years from now, based on that equation, it happened to Allah in one day. So what is going to happen in 1,000 years already happened in the knowledge of Allah in one day. So Allah got the knowledge of 1,000 years in one day. That's why we can understand now that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in some cases is talking about his destiny using the past simple tense. Al-Madi. Allah said, وَكَانَ يَوْمًا عَلَى الْكَافِرِينَ عَسِيرًا. It was a day for the oppressors so hard, means the day of judgment. That take us to the idea that what we are witnessing nowadays or right now, that is in the knowledge of Allah in the past. And that's why ألف سنة مما تعدون. And that will take us to another another issue related to the time. What is exactly the definition of the time? If you are talking from another planet, you will see another perspective of the time. And now you will come to the issue, to realize that the time could be something that Allah had designed only for us to be tested. But things are happening quicker than we think in the sight of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَإِنَّ يَوْمًا عِنْدَ رَبِّكَ كَأَلْفِ سَنَةٍ مِمَّا تَعُدُّونَ. In another surah, Allah said, خَمْسِينَ أَلْفَ سَنَةٍ, 50,000 years. 1 year in the sight of Allah is equivalent to 50,000 years. And the scholar said, that's not related to the destiny of Allah. That's not related to the orders of Allah, the decree of Allah. It's related to the day of judgment. So they said, other positions, Allah is describing the time as 50,000 years. For whom? For the disbelievers. Allah will make that day longer for the disbelievers. Can you imagine? And now you might ask, Imam, if that's the case in the dunya, so what about the day of judgment? I will tell you the hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam when he is describing the day of judgment for the believers. And he said that day will pass كَالصَّلَاةِ الْمَكْتُوبَةِ, like you are praying one of your salah. It will pass like this quickly for the believers. But what about the disbelievers? Will be equivalent to 50,000 years. That's something beyond our imagination. And that will take us to another thing. You remember in multiple occasions in the Quran, when we die, do you think that we keep that time 24 hours running in our heads? No. So we got disconnected to this time. And you will say to yourself when you pass by the graves, oh, I have my father who passed away 20 years ago. This is his grave. Yes. 20 years ago, based on what? You're counting, not your father's counting. You remember the people of the cave, when they slept in the cave, they slept for 309 years. And when they woke up, they said, لَبِثْنَا يَوْمًا أَوْ بَعْضَ يَوْمٍ. We just stayed day or part of a day. We slept the whole day or even part of that day. And they said, we as human beings nowadays, even when we are living, when you sleep, what's happening when you sleep? Imagine you sleep, you disconnect yourself from the time. That's why the first thing that you do when you wake up, you need to look at your watch, get your phone and see, or ask somebody, or look at the sun. You need to look at something to know how many hours did you sleep. Otherwise, you wouldn't know. You go directly, oh, now I slept 5 hours, 8 hours. Why? Because we disconnect ourselves from the time when we sleep. And let me tell you something. Allah said, يُدَبِّرُ الْأَمْرَ. He is the one who is issuing the amr, the decree. What's the decree here? Every matter, everything that Allah had created, even as one of the brothers said yesterday, even if you have the leaf of the tree will fall down, that's written, that's prescribed. Even somebody will die, somebody will be born, something will happen. Issues related to other, to the movement of the water, the ocean, the creation of Allah. That's all the amr. I asked you last time, can you imagine how many orders Allah would issue to let that universe running? That's something beyond our capacity. For every leaf will drop from a tree, it has an order. For every movement, for every child will be born, for everything in our life, it needs to have an issue. It needs to have an order to work. Otherwise, it will not work. Let me give you an example. The order for fire. The fire was created to burn, right? But what happened in the case of Ibrahim alayhi salam? What happened? Yeah, Allah stopped that fire from burning. So Allah gave the order, قُلْنَا يَا نَارُ كُونِي بَرْدًا وَسَلَامًا عَلَى إِبْرَاهِيمَ. Allah said, we said to the fire, oh nar, oh fire, be cool, be nice, be safe upon Ibrahim. And subhanallah, and that's how Allah changing the orders. We know that Musa alayhi salam, when he split the ocean, and the ocean was freezed. So we know that the movement of water, the liquid. So Allah kept that water to be freezed like two mountains, two huge mountains. Who took that, or who did that order? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So sometimes we can understand now the order of Allah. And now if I told you Allah knows everything, because one day with Allah's time is equivalent to 1,000 years of our time. So let's say that we are talking about the last 1,000 years. All what happened in the last 1,000 years, it's already happened with Allah. It's already happened in His knowledge. So Allah knew it, because all what we will live, or what we had lived for 1,000 years, had happened in the knowledge of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So Allah said, ذَلِكَ عَالِمُ الْغَيْبِ وَالشَّهَادَةِ. And because of this equation, that 1 year in the sight of Allah, 1 day in the sight of Allah equals 1,000 years from your time, because of that equation, He is alimul ghayb. He is the knower of the unseen, wash-shahada, and the seen. So now we have two words. The word number one is the unseen, what we call it ghayb, and the seen, something you are witnessing. Now you witness the lecture, that's seen for you. But what is the unseen for you? What is the unseen? Anything that your mind cannot comprehend at that time will be unseen. Imagine if somebody is outside the masjid and he's doing something. Is it seen or unseen for you? It's unseen. Even if it's happening right now. If you are talking about something happening in Japan, in China, that's for you is unseen, but for others could be seen, right? But what is the unseen for Allah? Nothing. What is the seen for Allah? Everything. That's why he said, he is alimul ghayb. He is the knower of the unseen for you, not for him. It will not be unseen for Allah. There is no ghayb for Allah. ذَلِكَ عَالِمُ الْغَيْبِ وَالشَّهَادَةِ. He is the knower of the unseen and the seen for you. He knows everything. Al-Aziz al-Rahim. And why is that? الَّذِي أَحْسَنَ كُلَّ شَيْءٍ خَلَقَهُ. He is the one who perfected everything that he had created. He is the one who beautified everything he had created. وَبَدَأَ خَلْقَ الْإِنسَانِ مِنْ طِينٍ. Listen to this. He had created the human being from teen, from clay, from dust. That's only the beginning. And you might say, Imam, I wasn't created out of clay. There is no clay. There is no dust here, right? He started this. He began this. ثم بدأ نسله من سلالة من ماء مهين. And that's a scientific fact. It's a miracle. Listen, Allah is saying, and He created the rest of the offspring from a sperm, from a water. Allah said, mahin, it's very weak. It can easily be attacked. And that's what the science is proving nowadays. That with the sperm, it can be attacked. It needs to go for a race inside to go to the womb of the mother. And many are getting killed. Many are getting to die. And that's during their journey to the sperm of the womb. And one only survives, right? And that's the reality of ma'in mahin. It's very weak. It could be easily attacked. It could be easily killed. It could be easily, not reaching all of them to the womb. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said that that's by nature. It's a very weak, source of, or a sperm, the source of the child when it gets to be born. Inshallah, next week, we will continue Surah Sajda to know more about the creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to know more about the revelation of the Quran. What's the relationship between the khalq, the creation, and the decree, the order, and the revelation? Creation, decree, and revelation. That is, inshallah, what we need to answer and discover next week. May Allah bless us all. Allahumma ameen. May Allah grant us the blessings of the Quran. Allahumma ameen ya Rabbil Alameen. Think about the idea of the time, and you will discover many of the things related to the greatness of Allah, related to the universe, related to what is going around us. May Allah guide us to the best of the ways. May Allah make us amongst the righteous servants. Allahumma ameen ya Rabbil Alameen. Jazakumullahu khairan. Barakallahu feekum. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.